Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. So I'm going to explain what's going on with this Batman Ben Affleck news. He's not going to direct, he's still doing the movie though. There's a lot of craziness that's happening, but just as a giant aspirin pill to make everyone feel better, I will be doing a new Flash ring giveaway tonight with my Flash video. So be sure to subscribe to get that and click that bell to enable alerts so you don't miss anything. I'll start with the facts first, then I'll talk about the rumors, and then I'll talk a little bit about Gotham at the end of this because they just did some big Joker stuff. So if you don't know, the actual statement that Ben Affleck released says, "There are certain characters who hold a special place in the hearts of millions," just acknowledging the fandom. Batman is one of the most popular comic book characters of all time. He goes on, "Performing this role demands focus, passion, and the very best performance that I can give. It has become clear that I cannot do both jobs," talking about acting, directing, and writing the script, "to the level that they require." Now, when he says both jobs, he's actually doing 3 jobs. So if you didn't know, previously he was writing the movie with Geoff Johns, he was directing it, and he was acting in it. There are very few actors that can actually pull that off. Mel Gibson doing Braveheart is a really good example of that. That took a long time to make, and if you want to see a Batman movie in the next 10 years, then that requires getting some help. So that's why Ben Affleck is making this statement. He says, "I've decided to find a partner in a director who will collaborate with me on this massive film. I am still in this and we are making it, but we are currently looking for a director." And I'll explain who they're looking for right now. And then he just reiterates that he's looking forward to this, he's committed to it, bringing it to the fans of the world. So basically he's saying that he's getting super burnt out trying to do everything that you could possibly do, like literally doing every single job. So he's getting a little bit of help to come in. I know there are a lot of rumors, so I'll address those too in a second, but the director who's at the top of the list right now, the most likely candidate, is Matt Reeves, the person who did War of the Planet of the Apes. So they're looking for people that can do really big tentpole films like this without letting the characters get lost in the mix. So what's happening here is that Ben Affleck still has control of the project, so he's looking for someone to collaborate with. And a lot of people are like, hey, what about David Fincher? Why can't we get him? What about George Miller? He makes amazing movies. There was a Justice League movie that he was going to make a long time ago before it fell through. But as amazing as some of those directors are, it's a lot like the story of Edgar Wright's version of Ant-Man. If you remember way back, Edgar Wright had been hired to do the Ant-Man movie for Marvel. They teased it several years ago. There was some test footage that was released. And then what ended up happening is that he had trouble fitting it into Kevin Feige's version of what he was looking for in a Marvel film. So in the last couple of years, Marvel has really reached out to talented, up-and-coming directors, but it's still very much Kevin Feige's vision. So Ben Affleck and Geoff Johns have this really amazing vision for Batman, and what they're going to do is try to find a director that can help them make their version of Batman, not somebody who will come in and say, "I'm going to do it my way," or "I'm not going to do it at all." And that's exactly who David Fincher is. Like, they're only going to make the version of the movie that they want to make. They're not going to make somebody else's movie. And because it's Batman, it's going to be Geoff Johns and Ben Affleck's film. So they're looking for a partner. They're not looking for someone to make the film by themselves. So going back to the Ant-Man movie, everybody freaked out when Edgar Wright walked from the project. They're like, "Oh my God, Ant-Man is dead. We're never going to see it." But then they hired Peyton Reed, and everyone's like, "Who is this guy? We've never heard of him. He's never done a big movie like this." And the movie turned out great. Like, we're going to get the sequel to that, Ant-Man and the Wasp, relatively soon in Phase 3. So this Batman stuff is just one of those situations where it sounds like there's a lot of crazy drama that's being heightened behind the scenes, but really it's just Ben Affleck trying not to burn himself out before he actually has to act as Batman. A lot of you are also asking about the stuff that Ben Affleck was saying last month, like, if the script isn't good, then I'm not going to do it, and it seems like he's not doing it now in terms of directing, like he's still acting in it. But what that actually means is that it takes him a long time to write his scripts. It took him a long time to make Argo, it took him a long time to make Live by Night. He acted and directed in both of those movies. So like I said at the beginning of this, if you want to see a Batman movie in the next 10 years, you have to bring in some people to help move things along, because any one person can only do 1 or 2 things really, really well at the same time. So they don't want to wind up with like half of a good Batman movie. They want a really awesome Batman movie. So now that Ben Affleck doesn't have to worry about directing, he can just focus on finishing the script and delivering a really amazing performance. So the only thing that's happening here is that he's just not doing every single possible job that you could possibly do. The really good thing that that points to is that the studio wants to start shooting the movie in the next couple of months. If you remember, it was rumored that they were going to release it sometime during 2018. Now that could always get pushed to 2019 because it typically takes about 18 months after they start shooting to actually release a movie. Now that's just like an average number. So you can see why the studio wants to start shooting the movie sometime this year, because at the current pace, Ben Affleck probably won't finish getting ready till almost the end of the year, meaning the movie would get pushed even further. So really that's all that's going on. If there are any really big announcements about the director that they hire, I'm assuming that it's probably going to be the War of the Planet of the Apes person. Usually when they say someone's at the top of their list, it's because they're finalizing contracts before they actually start doing work on the movie. The other big rumor, I know a lot of you probably heard about this, is that because Live by Night didn't perform the way the studio wanted to, that Ben Affleck is just sort of rethinking the way he approaches projects. That just goes back to the idea of trying to do everything yourself and working on multiple projects at the same time, which is kind of what he's been doing. So I think the studio is just like, there's too much stuff that you're trying to do, so let's just have you do the really important stuff. We'll bring in a little bit of help and everything will be great. So I don't think the studio pushed him out. I think he just saw that he was going to go crazy if he tried to do every single thing himself, and he didn't want to have like a mental breakdown, even though that would be in keeping with Batman's character. Batman goes pretty crazy every once in a while. But that's really all that's going on with it. It just sounds like it's worse than it actually is because of all the political stuff that's happening. Like if you go on social media, so many people are complaining about stuff that's happening in real life right now that it's hard to tell what's going on with the really fun stuff that you would normally be spending your time thinking about. So I highly recommend that you watch The Flash tonight. It will make you totally feel better about life, humanity in general. Gypsy's coming on. I'll be doing a video for it later. But a lot of you were also asking about Gotham. That was the video that I was originally going to make before this huge Ben Affleck news dropped. They introduced a more New 52 version of the Joker than we've seen before.
So, how's it look?
It looks good.
Tonight, Gotham, there are no rules. Do what you want. Kill who you want. You too shall be reborn. You don't want to miss what happens next.
What do you say, Bruce? Want to have some fun before the main event? Let's turn that frown upside down.
You want to kill someone? Let's get on with it.
Shall we end the night with a bang? Or better yet, a boom?
Ready? Not really. Face it, kid. Gotham has no heroes.
Brucey. You want to be a hero?
Jerome went full Joker. They had some nice nods to the Killing Joke with Bruce Wayne here, and he even did some very Batman things. They're like slowly inching him towards his Batman persona. He's still a very young version of the character, but if you guys have any requests for DC movie videos, just leave them in the comments below. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening with Wonder Woman in the next couple of months, but because the movie doesn't come out till June, they haven't started their campaign yet. Usually when campaigns are going on, that's when you see all the footage dropping everywhere, when you see them making all this noise, so that'll start happening really soon. So hopefully everybody chills out a little bit. We're going to have a new episode of The Flash tonight. I'll post my video later. There'll be a new round of the Flash ring giveaway. It'll be great. While you guys wait for that to post, you can click here to learn how the Flash can beat Savitar this year, and you can click here to learn what's going on with the Aquaman movie, which is all good news. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you in the next video.